Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So we are seeing legacy automakers like Volkswagen getting desperate, even admitting themselves they only have like 1 or 2 years to turn this thing around. But we can already see it now. They will not make it. They are too little, too late, because if you think it's tough now, well, Tesla is about to put the hurt on for real for the legacy automakers within the next 6 to 12 months. And we can see that everything is trending the right way. Battery prices are going down, energy density is going up, and it is happening much faster than even the analytics firm are predicting. And they are even adjusting their predictions with bigger and bigger gaps. And unfortunately, this is bad news for the legacy automakers like Volkswagen that is going to be running with about 40% overcapacity here in 2024 with their many factories. As Volkswagen has lost 2.5 million units in sales over the last decade, and they are no longer racing towards EVs with a sense of urgency. This will not end well, and the end is coming faster than most people think. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in. So, Volkswagen is predicted to only sell about 8.5 million vehicles in 2024. So a lot has happened since Volkswagen mocked Tesla for basically being insignificant, as should not be compared to mighty Volkswagen. Remember this clip?
Jetzt muss ich dann doch mal einen Satz zu Tesla sagen, bei allem Respekt, es gibt auf dieser Welt Ankündigungsweltmeister, ich nenne keine Namen, es gibt Unternehmen, die verkaufen mit Mühe 80.000 Autos pro Jahr, Volkswagen 11 Millionen in dem Jahr, dann gibt es Unternehmen wie Volkswagen, die erwirtschaften pro Jahr einen Gewinn von 13, 14 Milliarden Euro und wenn ich richtig informiert bin, vernichtet Tesla pro Quartal einen dreistelligen Millionenbetrag. Schmeißt die Mitarbeiter raus, wie sie lustig sind, also Sozialkompetenz, weiß ich nicht, wo das ist. Also da bitte ich jetzt wirklich mal die Kirche im Dorf zu lassen und nicht Äpfel mit Birnen zu vergleichen. Ja, Baba.
But I do agree with him. Please don't compare Volkswagen with Tesla, because Volkswagen cannot compete with Tesla at all. Tesla has had software-defined vehicles since 2012, and Volkswagen is now saying they don't expect software-defined vehicles before 2027 or 2028. But what about the sales numbers? Well, as he said, Tesla in 2016 only sold about 76,000 units. But in 2023 they sold 1.82 million units, so they have grown almost 1.8 million units in sale. And yes, Volkswagen did sell 11 million units once, but last year they were down to 9 million, so they have dropped 2 million. And as I said, they are expected to only hit 8.5 million this year, making it a total loss of 2.5 million vehicles, since Volkswagen just ignored Tesla and said themselves that they would beat Tesla in EV sales by 2018. Well, it is 6 years later and we're still waiting. Actually, the only thing that has grown is the difference between Volkswagen and Tesla in EV sales, as Tesla has pulled further and further away. So that clip has already not aged well. But Tesla is just getting started. Just look at this chart from Visual Capitalist, showing that Volkswagen was just looking at that time at Tesla's Model S and X and thought that was it. But then came the Model 3 that most automotive analysts thought would never happen. But it did, and it changed Tesla completely. But then came the Model Y that people had not big thoughts about, and people like Mark Spiegel even called it vaporware, but that took Tesla to a completely new level, as it became the best-selling car in the world. So I do think that Volkswagen is now paying attention to Tesla, as they don't have a car model that sells as many units as Tesla has. Not even their Golf, that even got kicked off the throne in Europe by Tesla's Model Y in 2023 as the best-selling model of any kind. And globally, the Model Y holds that title as well. I don't think Volkswagen is laughing anymore, as they, for the first time in 40 years, are talking about closing plants in Europe. And I think they have to, because their overcapacity is much worse than the 2.5 million drop they have seen in their sales over the last decade. Because they might have had an annual production of 11 million vehicles at some point, but they actually have an annual production capacity of 14 million cars. But in 2023, they only sold 9 million vehicles, thanks to the rise of EVs. Not just Tesla, but Tesla has taken almost 2 million units from somewhere, right? So Volkswagen is done doing business as usual, as they have just said. And remember, they have just said that they only have 1, maybe 2 years to turn this around. So they now know they are in trouble, but didn't believe it back when Tesla was just a tiny little car company. But there are more pains coming for Volkswagen and the other legacy automakers, because they are slowing down their aggressive EV targets and are betting more on hybrids. But that is a very short-term minded strategy, because I think it's fair to say that EVs are the future, as we have to stop ICE cars at some point, and hydrogen cars has proven to be too expensive, too inefficient and too complicated to ever work as a daily commute. As we can see from Toyota's tiny sales of hydrogen cars that has actually peaked back in 2021 and is shrinking every year that ticks by. The customers has spoken. Another thing that is shrinking year over year is the battery price. But two other things that are growing are energy density and the charging speed. That ARK Invest is predicting that will hit a speed that will be able to fill up 200 miles in just 5 minutes in 2027. So EVs are destined to not only come down in price as Wright's law gets time to play out, together with all the advancements we are seeing in battery and charging speed. If we look at this chart, we can see that the cost of batteries per kilowatt hours has fallen over 90% in the last 20 years. But are still shrinking. But at the same time, the energy density is up 5x. And we also have to remember that the battery also lasts a lot longer. So the cost per cycle has probably gone down something like 10x faster still. And this will only continue. And if you think, but the analyst firms are saying EVs will not grow that fast, well, here is a nice chart showing EIA's prediction of demand of battery versus reality, actual sales. And as you can see, they always only look at it linearly. And every year they raise their target. And as you can see in the 2022 and 2023 targets, they have actually raised it by a huge amount compared to the other years. So we simply can't rely on analytics firms here to get this right, as they don't understand exponential growth, as we are seeing in the EV industry. So we have to do our own thinking here. And not only are batteries going down in price and energy density is rising, but at the same time Tesla, which Volkswagen laughed at back in 2017, will add to this chart and more affordable models, probably 2 in the next 6 to 12 months. Imagine what that will do to this chart, as these 2 models will hit even harder, as they will reach a much bigger addressable market. And what that will do to the sales of Volkswagen, as they still don't have a compelling EV and will not have anything that can really, truly compete with what Tesla is offering today before that Trinity platform that has been delayed to 2032. As Volkswagen said themselves, they are no longer cost competitive. And that is also because they don't want to sell more EVs than they have to, because they lose a lot of money on them, and because they don't want their EVs to become cheaper than their ICE versions, because that is where all their profits is, like the ID3 is still much more expensive than their ICE counterpart. Like we can see here, the T-Cross is about 40% cheaper to get than the ID3. So Volkswagen is not giving any incentive economically for people to buy their EVs, as their ICE version is still more expensive. But when Tesla suddenly comes into the picture, and especially over the last couple of years with the new refreshed Model 3 that you can get for basically the same price as the ID3, with about the same range as a standard Model 3, then people suddenly get so much more bang for their buck. If they buy an ID3 over a T-Cross, they don't get that much more. Actually, they probably get a little less nicer interior, because Volkswagen has cheapened the interior to try to make them cheaper to produce. And unlike Tesla, that has made thousands of innovation in production and through that cut cost, Volkswagen has no real innovation. So the only way they can make the cars cheaper is by putting in cheaper materials. So for Volkswagen's customers, they will probably still choose the T-Cross, as it is a nicer car and can also get a tow hitch. But with Tesla's Model 3, you are suddenly getting so much more. The best software and user interface in the business, hands down. And a connected, software-defined vehicles that gets better all the time. Fun acceleration, much faster charging, and with the new standard range Model 3 you get about 25% less battery in them than the ID3 Pro S with the same kind of range. So you will also have to pay about 25% less to fill up your car. And they are about the same price. But the ID Pro S is actually more expensive than the Tesla Model 3 standard range in my country. But with the Tesla Model 3, you get one of the safest cars out there and the best safety assist features in the business, according to Euro NCAP, and a screen in the back and ventilated seat and a frunk and a tow hitch. You are really not going on compromise with the Tesla. You will get a much better car than the T-Cross and the ID3, but for basically the same price, but cheaper to operate. So Tesla's value for money is just insane. That is why we are seeing that the new Tesla customers are coming from Toyota and Volkswagen or other middle-class car brands and going for a Tesla instead. And Tesla will come out with 2 more affordable models within the next year or so, and Volkswagen has no countermove whatsoever, as they have delayed all their promises of their innovative Trinity platform. It won't even be in play this decade. So Tesla is about to really put the hurt on someone like Volkswagen in 2025, as we see more and more people are choosing EVs, but what Volkswagen is offering is simply just not competitive on price or performance. But it is not only Tesla that is stealing more unit sales from Volkswagen and the other legacy automakers, the Chinese are coming as well. That moves and implements new innovation fast. So as the battery continues to fall and energy density continues to rise, making sure we actually need less batteries in the car as well, making them even cheaper than just the kilowatt. But suddenly you only need like 25% less batteries in your car as well. That will also make the EVs much cheaper. Because we can see this is happening with Tesla, as the new refreshed Model 3 standard range has a WLTP range of 513 kilometers. But only with a battery pack of 57 kilowatt hours, whereas my old Tesla Model 3 long range had a WLTP of 567 kilometers but have 77 kilowatt hours battery. So that battery is about 25% smaller, but the range is only 9.5% shorter. And Tesla's new long range with the 18 wheels and aero cover has a WLTP range of 678 kilometers. That is about a 20% increase in efficiency over the last 5 years. So, as we can see, we will be able to not only get the cost down because of Wright's law, every time accumulated production of EVs is going to double, but the cost of batteries is going down. At the same time, the energy density is going up even faster, and not only making the same size battery cheaper, but we also need less kilowatt hours of batteries in the car in the first place. making them cheaper yet again. And EVs are just much less complex car than an ICE car, so as the new technology scales, it will come down in price and eventually become much cheaper to buy an EV than the dying ICE cars, as they will only get more and more expensive to buy as they lose their economy of scale, like Volkswagen that has lost 2.5 million units in scale. That will hurt them in more ways than one. So EVs are inevitable. They will become much cheaper to buy than an ICE car, and fast. Looking just 4 years out in the future, I don't think many people are going to want to buy an ICE car anymore as their daily commute, as you can get the next generation Tesla or some of the Chinese much cheaper than you can buy an equivalent ICE car for at that point. It will be financially insane to buy the ICE car. And then comes all the cost of maintenance and fuel savings on top of that. It will make absolutely no sense to buy an ICE car by the end of this decade. And the problem for the legacy automakers like Volkswagen is that, sure, they can show off the ID2 and get it to market, but that will just never become profitable for them on their current platform this decade, because they are missing their next generation platform that makes that happen. So the ID2 will be a very stripped down version of that car to lose as little money as possible. Whereas Tesla will come out with something that will be, a Tesla. They can strip down it as much as well, but their biggest cost benefit is going to come from their innovation in manufacturing, cutting cost in half for Tesla. But at the same time, you will still get the great software and safety assist features. So the car is going to be a much better software-defined vehicle than the cheap ID2 from Volkswagen. Oh yeah, that car won't even be a software-defined vehicle. As Volkswagen has said themselves, they will not have a software-defined vehicle before the end of this decade. So they will once again just sit with an uncompetitive car at an uncompetitive price, as it costs Volkswagen way too much to produce them. And Tesla has just confirmed that the Shanghai factory is running at full capacity. So Tesla is not running with a low capacity as Volkswagen is, and Tesla is still ramping up the Berlin factory and Texas factory, and has also got approval for their expansion in Berlin factory that will be building more affordable models for Europe within a few years. And the second part of Tesla's Berlin factory will be twice the size of the first phase of the factory, so Tesla is definitely gearing up for something big in the backyard of the German automakers. I don't think Volkswagen is laughing anymore about Tesla. I think we will see fear and panic in their face instead, as they will continue to shrink and Tesla will continue to rise. They should probably have taken Tesla and the EVs more serious back in the days, but now it seems it's too little, too late. As Volkswagen said, we have 1 to 2 years to turn it around, but the only weapon they have is cutting cost. So I think it is inevitable that Volkswagen will start firing people and maybe even close down plants, because running with a 40% overcapacity is not sustainable very long. So it has played out as the saying goes. First they laugh at you, then they ignore you.
I think Elon Musk and the guys are learning what it means to put automobiles into production.
Then they fight you.
Take that, Elon Musk.
And then you win.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.
And if you live in the US, Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, Singapore or Australia, I have got a special deal for you. But this is a limited time only, so hurry up if you want this great exclusive deal that I've got from Moomoo. Who is Moomoo, you might think? Well, Moomoo is one of the best trading platforms on the planet that was founded in Silicon Valley, designed to offer investors easy access to pro-level service and data. In Japan, Moomoo has become the top choice for US stock trading in Japan and is ranked in the top 3 of most downloaded stock trading apps. So if you want the best and easiest and lowest cost trading, Moomoo is the place to go. And right now you will get up to 15 free stocks stocks when you open an account. So that's pretty cool, right? So how does this work? Well, if you sign up and open a broker account via Moomoo, you will get 5 free stocks with the deposit of only $100. Deposit $1,000 and you will get additional 10 stocks for free. So enroll and activate to get 5.1% APY based rating plus 3% APY for 3 months. What's more, Moomoo is one of the lowest cost trading platforms available, and if you live in the US, you will get $0 commissions trading. And you will also get access to fractional sharing, so you don't have to invest more than what your wallet allows, as low as $5, so that is pretty awesome. And most important for us Tesla investors, if you buy Tesla stock through Moomoo, you will be able to vote as a shareholder that some people struggle with Elon's compensation packets. So this exclusive offer is only until the end of September, so if you want to make use of it, hurry up and sign up with Moomoo today using my link down below. And go nuts, my friends.